Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Alhamdulillah, we have here gathered again for our weekly MURAQBA session, and here now it's a time to let go of any sort of worldly thoughts and reconnect back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and one's teacher, Sheikh Ahmad Dabbāgh. And now the format of this majlis, as we know, is the Ustad will mention whatever they want to mention, and then we'll go through and do a MURAQBA session where the lataifs, there'll be like 10-15 minutes to clean the lataifs, and then also time to go on a journey, inshallah. And then the main thing is when we come back from our travels and our journey, our spiritual journey, is there's going to be a segment where feedback is then required, and how and what is required from the seeker is to then mention whatever or wherever a person has been, and then the Ustad will then go ahead and actually give you feedback if it is necessary. So without further ado, I will pass over to Imam Qais. Jazakallah.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin, wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidil Anbiya'i wal Mursaleen wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in, amma ba'd. Alhamdulillah, by the fazl and grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that we have sat here again for a short while to reconnect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to reconnect with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to reconnect with the Mashayikhs, and continue and enlighten our journey towards Him. We were blessed, alhamdulillah, with the presence of our beloved teacher, physical presence, in the past two MURAQBA sessions, and they gave some priceless nasihah and guidance for especially the seekers, especially those of us who are on the path. And these are, I think, in the past two sessions, the nasihah that they gave, I would, if a person was just to hear, it would help us on our journey in such ways that we couldn't even imagine. Who remembers what they said last week? Also, this also goes out to the Zoom brothers and sisters as well. Is that who remembers what nasihah they gave last week? Anybody? They did a short nasihah at the beginning, and then yes, wait. Yes, those things were mentioned as well. But what is it in particular they mentioned last week? Go on, Brother Abbas. It's about the will and not the skill. And that for me is like a precious, everything is precious what they say, but they gave such hope to every single one of us that do not lose the willpower that you have. Don't think, like we keep on telling you, trust in Allah, have your full trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and do not worry about your abilities or inabilities. Some of us get down, some of us get upset. Oh, I am not a pious person, I am not a righteous person, I am sinful, I am this, I am that. And then some of us get on the opposite end, and we keep on saying this again and again, and we mention this again and again, is that, oh, I am very learned, I am very, very practicing, mashallah, I am. So in both scenarios we say that do not rely upon your skill. One is the skill of sinning, and the other is skill of doing piety. So what I'm saying is that in both scenarios, don't actually focus on the skill, but rather the will. Whoever has the will that I want to succeed, that I want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I want His love, I want His nearness, I want the qurban nearness Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that is the thing that will take you on the journey. That is like the fuel, that is the energy. It's like a radar that no matter what, I will keep on doing and doing as much as I can because I have the will. And there are countless examples where due to the willpower alone, that many people have been forgiven through Quran and Hadith. We gave examples of that. So what else did they mention? Anybody else remember? So that was one, the don't rely on your skill but rely on the will. That will should never fade away. That will should always, no matter how deep and how burdened and how dark it gets for you internally, that of sins and of disobedience and of disconnection, never lose the will, i.e. that I want to become good, I want to be with Allah, I want the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Keep that tingling and keep that little light there. That is the thing that will eventually overcome you and help us all to reach a destination. Anything else anyone remembers? In Zoom, did they mention anything? You see, this is so. Hazrat has mentioned this one is a summary of one. This is, mashallah, they gave examples and they also talked about other things as well. And look how much value we're giving to our teacher. This is why it's important. Look, is that if we say Nakari and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them long liceness, if for the 2 weeks that they were here with us, the 2 sessions that were here with us, and we only just remember this, and we only just remember this nasiha, I'm talking about you brothers and sisters, mashallah, you good. Look, we don't even give value that even the teaching that they're giving us, that they're going to go away to Dabbāgh or they've gone away now. We don't know how long there's going to be now. The other unfortunate scenario is that there may be lockdowns and that's it, there may be another lockdown. Allah nakare, but who knows what will happen there. Or what if we get to see them, I don't know when they'll be back, no one knows. But what sort of preference and what sort of significance have we given the 2 weeks that they spend here at least? We can't even remember. We can't even remember the nasheed that they gave because they knew I'm going to be here for 2 weeks. They knew exactly what our problem is, what our problems are. They knew exactly where we're going to go wrong and what will help us. They gave a formula for us now to actually carry on. Formula they gave, the whole nasheed, just to understand, is that they knew exactly I'm going to be for this long. What is the most important thing that my students need now in order to maintain themselves? And we can't remember. We only remember this one thing, which is precious, mashallah, Abbas, mashallah, got right, and that's it, we can't remember anything else. So really introspect within us that really are we giving value. And they can see, obviously they know. I know brothers and sisters, they're busy and they said they listen to the saying, you listen to the recording, you might not pay attention, etc., etc. Fine, then make time to listen to the recording. But listening is one thing, and then to see if you've actually understood is when you actually say to somebody else. That's what we call muzakara. What we do is that doing the tazkira and the muzakara of what you've heard. Is that in the olden days, I remember our teacher mentioning to us how people used to learn is that they didn't, maybe people used to travel. We know, mashallah, our Bolton brothers, mashallah, they did a great journey from all the way from Bolton Sharif to all the way to here. People used to travel days upon days just to hear one hadith, or months upon months just to hear one hadith, or to learn one thing. They had to go on a kafla of caravans of learning and to actually learn something, the path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and spend time, years and years, to actually mastering it. So in the olden days, what they used to do is that it's how important it is to actually, whatever you've learned, to actually then regurgitate it so they don't forget. So what we're doing is that we're just hearing, but we think, alhamdulillah, it's like our memory bank. You know how we do, you record on the save a file on the computer. We think our brain is so good that we've heard it, now save, and that's it, it's stored away. It's not. Unfortunately, there are viruses there which is corrupting, the virus of sin and the virus of ghafla. And what happens, that wonderful knowledge which we've been given, and what's happened, the virus comes along, the virus of dunya, the virus of exposure to other things, and it corrupts everything we heard and it completely withers away. So that's why what happens when we say, have you remembered? No, we don't remember. So how we will remember? So the Buzurg, what they used to do is that one particular person, when they were studying, he didn't have anything, he had a donkey. There was a donkey, he used to look after a donkey, or some sort of animal, donkey or a cow, but let's say it's a donkey. And what happened is that he'd go next to the donkey, get the ear, and go next to the ear. He said, "This is what I learned today. Da, 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 da. Have you understood?" Now the donkey's not saying anything. "You've not understood? Have you not? Okay, I'll say it again." So they say it again. Da, 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 da. "This is my sabak. Da, 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 da. This is what was said. Da, da. Have you understood?" The donkey's not saying anything. So he said it again. Some people used to use the brick wall. They'll use a brick wall and say, "Oh, brick wall, okay, I haven't got anything, I will speak to you." And obviously these things they listen to in the manner in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala facilitates for them. These are everything is living in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They speak to the brick wall and they say to the brick wall, "I have learned that, da, 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 da. Have you understood?" In other words, what they're trying to say to me and you is that it's not don't look at the brick wall or don't look at the donkey, is that keep on saying it upon your tongue so that it has understood. What we're doing is that we can talk about, "Oh, look at this, or look at the disaster in the world, look this politician or this star or this club or this business or that thing." We can remember from the tips of our tongue and we can talk about it day on and day and hours and hours. But the teaching of our beloved teacher, Ahmad Shah, is not there. We hardly talk about it amongst ourselves, even in between our families, with our children, with our peers, with our colleagues. We seldom do that. So to give value to understand is really when we are having, for example, we eat food on a Friday and whatever, when we get up, if there is any food, or when we actually mingle with one another, is that just spend some time and just think, okay, what did we learn today? Let's see who's remembered. It's not a test. It's not actually a who'll get it right, who's very clever. No, it's to make sure that I have understood, he has understood, and have we understood collectively together. And what happens is that it reinforces your learning. Is that whatever I have learned, is it the case that I have actually learned some parts, and the other person gives you the other part. So remember, for example, somebody might have given 6 points or some regarding a certain item. You only remember 2 points. That person remembers 1. That person remembers another person remembers. Then all 6 points now remembered. Then you repeat it again, and that's you remember the teaching. Now the very teaching now the next point, one is that first of all you learnt it, and then you regurgitate it. Okay, we're saying it to another. The next point is implementing. Is that how many of us now implemented what they've said? The will, for example, if you are struggling, then if you are, those brothers and sisters are struggling, have you really that willpower should have come through, shone through, and now have you restarted? Have you actually re-energized? Have you now said, that's it, okay, alhamdulillah, I'm not going to look at my own deeds, I'm not going to look at my own defects, I'm not going to look at my own thing. I want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I want His rida, I want His pleasure, I want the nearness of Qurba Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I want that connection, I will now travel. That will. Have we used that now? That's now implementing on the journey. Have we now used it? So first we're learning it, hearing it, absorbing it, then regurgitating oneself, reminding oneself, and then putting into practice. Have we then put into practice? And that is when you'll be solidified. Your learning will be solidified and established. So, my dear brothers and sisters, a reminder for myself is that know this: if they come, when they come back, but when they come back, we don't know how long we didn't know how long they're going to be here. But know that whatever thing they're going to be saying in the bayan, whatever they say they're going to be saying, it will be something to do with us, and it will be something that will help us through the journey. It is a thing which is hindering us, because why? Maybe they're seeing that my students, they're all losing hope. Sinfulness, and they're losing hope, they're not doing the amals, and that's why they're staying away. They're not doing the amals, they're not coming to the gatherings, they're not participating, they're not, because of the responsibilities, they feel bad, and that's why they know. Maybe my students are feeling like this, so therefore I will give this nasihah. Whatever nasihah they will give, think as though this is a thing which is going to help me to remove my obstacles and my problems. If each and every single one of us to think this is it, this for me, this is precious guidance is given, let me just work in it. So about 4 or 5 gatherings we had with them, go back and listen to that. And then think. Because again, look, they regurgitated most of the stuff that what we heard here, they regurgitated in Dabbāgh. So about what amals you're supposed to do at the beginning of the day. Why? Look how precious that nasheed was. But how many was actually doing it? So go back, listen to it. Try and see what you've understood, what you recollect, and then try to put it into practice. Because this is what we're suffering. So they want to eliminate and they want to rid of this suffering that we're going through, and what we're doing is that we are suffering, Hazrat, we are suffering, Hazrat, please help, please help. And they say, here's the help. And we're still saying we're suffering, Hazrat, we're suffering, Hazrat, please help, please help. And they're thinking, I just told you what to do. No, Hazrat, but we still, please help us. So we have to actually take, one sense, take action, initiate ourselves in terms of that the nasheed that they're given. Let's try and actually remember it, regurgitate, remember it, and then let's try to actually put into practice what they're saying. And that is where we will have fruitfulness in our journey, inshallah. Anyway, this is just a quick reminder, inshallah. Now we'll start the MURAQBA. So, we'll inshallah recite the azkars, divert your mind towards Allah, azkars of protection, then after which we'll recite the 3 keys of the heart, and then inshallah the beginning amals, and thereafter, inshallah, you should be all trained up by now. You should be all aware of how to do the Lataif cleansing. So 10 minutes or 15 minutes for the Lataif cleansing, and 10-15 minutes on your journey. As this is still the month, I would say, the Naghor, so I try to actually be and try to connect after the Mashayikh to Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jilani rahimahullah, and seek some guidance from them if you can, if you're able to. Hearing me is with me with all his sifat and qualities. And inshallah we'll recite the amals, protection amals. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يؤوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد. Now, inshallah, Aziz, just bringing the three keys of states of the heart of humbleness, of gratitude, shukr, and also of tawakkul, reliance upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Bring those three things into your heart and mind. Now just repeat after me. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Astaghfirullah. 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 الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم وأتوب إليه. اللهم يا ربي بجاه نور وجهك الكريم وبفضلك العظيم اجمع بيننا وبينك في الدنيا قبل الآخرة. اللهم يا ربي بجاه سيدنا محمد ابن عبد الله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وسلم. اجمع بيننا وبين سيدنا محمد ابن عبد الله في الدنيا قبل الآخرة. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه في كل لمحة ونفس عدد ما وسعه علم الله. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. لا إله إلا الله. لا إله إلا الله. لا مقصود إلا الله. لا مشهود إلا الله. لا مطلوب إلا الله. لا مسجود إلا الله. لا محبوب إلا الله. لا إله إلا الله. محمد رسول الله. Now inshallah Aziz, we shall now for 10-15 minutes or so, you'll do the Lataif cleansing, and then further 10-15 minutes or so, you shall then transfer and be in your spiritual path and your spiritual journey. Try to come after meeting our beloved teacher, try to meet Sayyidina Ghaus Pak, Sayyidina Abdul Qadir al-Jilani rahimahullah. Inshallah Aziz. You may start inshallah. I'll recite the verse. يا أيتها النفس المطمئنة ارجعي إلى ربك راضية مرضية فادخلي في عبادي وادخلي جنتي. If you haven't transferred already, you should have transferred by now, inshallah. So please do transfer. If you're not transferred already, try and transfer now. Sallallahu ala Muhammad. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. 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 Wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Now, inshallah Aziz, wherever you are, whatever point you are, take permission and slowly bring yourself back to your consciousness, inshallah.
Assalamu
Walaikum assalam.
It's Shahia from Nelson. I did the Lataif and then upon transfer I was with the Blessed Teacher and then presented salam to them, and they showed me a place. It was like a barren land. It was all chaos and all destroyed, and they said to the nearest meaning, I can't quite remember, they mentioned something about how forgiveness is representing that forgiveness can fix scenes like this that you're seeing. And then after this, I don't know what I don't know what I was seeing. It was like a logo of some sort. It was golden, and then I couldn't really see clearly. And then I couldn't really focus, so I spent the rest of the time just thinking about Allah and being in the presence of Allah. And then I think I did the Lataif again very quickly, and then I could see Hassan walking with some ustads, and when Durood was recited, I sought permission to return.
MashaAllah, you transferred initially. You didn't do the Lataif class, you just automatically transferred first time. Alright, then you did the Lataif again second time? Okay, that's fine, inshallah. The indication, what you heard is correct, is that basically is that when a person commits sin and violates the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then as if the land of good deeds is actually barren, but your land. And if you think about your land as in your own spirit is like a land, your heart is like a land, all of these places. Now as far as barren, i.e. it's not fertile with good deeds, i.e. good amals and akhlaq and so on, it becomes barren. And the way to make the land fertile again, the way to make the land to reap benefit is to make it fertile is through tawbah. And that is what has been indicated, that a person who does tawbah, then what happens is that it's as if they make the land more fertile, remove any unwanted crops, unwanted plants which will be harmful. That is the meaning of tawbah, is to stop evil action and to stop evil things actually coming and to get away from that. And then connecting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, making that land fertile again and turning back to Him, that will make the land fertile again. Then when you do good deeds and good amals, that will bear fruit, inshallah, it can grow so long as the person preserves it. So concentration maybe is because of the fact that you're probably not used to doing it without the aid. That sometimes can be the case. But don't worry about anything else, inshallah. It can happen, a person can drift and come in. What you should do is, instead of redoing the Lataif again, is go and focus back on Hazab, teacher, and then inshallah it'll then help you to reconnect again and then get clarity as well. So that will help in future. Just remember is that your point when something breaks, then refocus and find our beloved teacher Shaykh Ahmad Dabbāgh, refocus on them, and then inshallah it helps to reconnect and restart the journey again, inshallah, through that way. MashaAllah. Also in Zoom, if you like to type up any experience, you can do that as well. I have one feedback here. One feedback somebody sent. During the Isha Salah, straight away Hazrat Sahib was present and sat down on the mimbar and looked down at us. Looked at who was actually present for the majlis today. The blessed face expression was showing sadness, and they then said to the nearest meaning, "Why is the Zawi not full like the previous 2 weeks? Do they think they can only benefit when I am present only physically?" To which I could not answer out of the awe that was mentioned. Then during the rest of the Salah, each individual was given a light from Hazrat Sahib. When the Imam started the Bayan, a special light was given and sent to them from Hazrat Sahib, and then to everyone who was present, and carried on through the MURAQBA. MashaAllah. So it is not rocket science or anything like this to actually, MashaAllah, the experience that you experience is that Hukam, the command, it is the real test is when the mashayikhs are not around, when the teacher is not around. They like to see if the students still maintain whatever instruction they're given. Now, for example, last week I felt sorry for the Ahl Yasar, the people on the left in the past 2 weeks, is that they didn't get even a chance to mention anything. I felt sorry for them. This week, mashallah, we're doing a whole thing this age with nobody there, and we'll come maybe one person, now we're on this side straight away. What I'm trying to say is that look at our mentality and look at our attitudes and look at our how we deal with ourselves. That is that if really I say this again and again and reminder to myself as well, is that we say many things about our beloved teacher, that they are this and they are that. I'm not saying I say that, I'm saying that people go out and say Hazab is this and Hazab is that, nor do they say it either. If we even believed and really truly sincerely believed the things that we say, our mindset and everything will be completely different, and will not be acting like this or behaving like this. Let me just tell you this, is that whatever we proclaim or whatever we say, many people are proclaimers of love, being true lovers. They love us, we love you so much. We think the real love now comes is when they're not here. What do? Do you now carry on and giving preference to whatever they said and whatever they instructed us, or do you think it's my off time now? They're not here. I will take a nice break until they're back. And some people did take a year break or so, or something like that. Unfortunately, that break really breaks them as well, and we don't see them for a while. So as whoever this brother experienced, is that yes, obviously they'll see disappointment. That is without question. Is that even the fact that just having shafqat upon us, having compassion, that we used to have this gathering on Thursday, because of the fact they wanted us to make sure that there's a spread, so that it doesn't become too burdensome upon us. There's a spread that at least you get a reminder. Look, there's a long gap and long distance from Thursday, Friday, and then following Thursday, long gap. For Shafqat, they said, okay, we'll move this Thursday, which is never heard of, on to a Monday. So that we then have something to remind us in between the week before we come to the Friday gathering again. That's compassion. That's their whole level of compassion. But me and you, we're thinking, oh no, Monday now. We come back to Monday. Oh dear, we have to now organize this and that, and we take it negatively. So, really, it is a case of whatever instruction that our beloved teacher says, that is to act upon that. That is the most fundamental thing. And to really demonstrate your love and to really show that how much you value them is when they're not present, you actually act as though they are present, behave as though they are present, and actually conduct yourself as though they are present with us. And inshallah, if you do that, then hopefully we'll be blessed people. And as you can see, that whoever does follow the instruction, the fares is always going to be with those people who will follow, who do and try their best to carry the instruction. There will always be shortcomings. Inshallah, the fares will be there, whether those brothers or sisters know it or not. They'll always be there, inshallah. So, mashallah, Allah SWT enables all to really be sincere students and sincere followers of Shaykh Dabbāgh, and enable us to really put a smile on their face, whatever capacity, whatever way, especially when they're not here to carry out the task and the mission that they've set us to do. And inshallah, if we do that, most importantly is that first and foremost, the mission is, everybody has a mission. Everybody's saying, I have a mission, I have a mission. My mission is to do da'wah. My mission is to help with charity. My mission is to design. My mission is to do the computer and the laptops and designing. My mission is to actually make sure everybody hears the sound and so on. Everybody's got a mission. Your primary mission is, my mission is to save myself and reach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That should be the primary mission. That is what we're here for, is to save ourselves. And if you're not here with the place where you can get salvation and where you can actually get that, then how are you successful in that mission? So primary mission is to save ourselves, purify ourselves, reconnect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and keep ourselves steadfast on our journey. And along the way in that mission is that if we can actually help and upskill ourselves, then we'll also try, as long as this, fulfilling this, we then try and help others as well and call others, be it through da'wah, be it through media, be it through teaching, be it through any other means. That is our side mission. You could say side mission, but the primary mission, ku anfusakum wa ahlikum nara, is that save yourself and your family from the hellfire. That is our primary mission. So inshallah, is try your best. For example, I believe this Friday the gathering will be here. So try your best to call others, invite others, so that one is that when you see a regular turnout, including online as well, is that when you see other brothers and sisters also participating, then that separation from Hazrat Sahib, that they're not physically here, you feel it less. You feel less because you see those brothers at the light of, imagine every single student has a light of the Shaykh. Every single student, Murid, Murida, they all have the light of the Shaykh. Now, if we enlighten the whole place with the Zawah, the light of the Shaykh, we will feel more enlightened. Now, obviously, if there's going to be 2 or 3 lights, then it's not going to be very light, is it? But we have more and fill the whole place more, then we'll get to also see the reflection of that light from all the brothers and sisters. So, if we really claim that we are followers and we really claim that we are students, then enlighten each other, then help each other. Come and share that light, because you have a light. No matter what. What did they say the other day? Is that if a person does evil act and a sin, and what happens is that Imam Jawzi rahmatullah, what did he say? They said that I'm paraphrasing now, is that when they commit an evil act or a sin, and inside they feel upsetness, inside they feel hurt, inside they feel sad and remorseful, even though they're doing it, they're committing, but inside their heart is actually upset, their heart is distressed, they feel remorse in their heart, despite them doing it, and while they're doing it, they're also feeling that, know that that distress, that upsetness, that means the person has some light in his heart. It's not full darkness that we're saying we're just dark and we're just evil, full of evil. No, there is some light there. What I'm saying is that every single one of us, by the nisbah of the fact that we are students of Shaykh Dabbāgh, every single one of us have a certain light. So remind me of that light. I will say, brother, come and shower that light upon me because I need it. So imagine if we all think, okay, shower the light, okay, everybody comes, we share that light. How happy do you think each of us will feel, and how happy do you think the Mashayikhs will feel? So we should try and endeavor to make sure that we try and come, especially the Monday now as well as the Friday, make sure we try and make our utmost efforts to try and participate, inshallah. Jibada.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I'm Awais from Nelson. Upon transferring, I met the blessed teacher Hazrat Sahab. They were in a center of a room which I couldn't tell, and the zikr, I presented my salam to them, and they replied back to the salam. And as they replied back to the salam, the zikr of Allah Azza wa Jal began to recite, and it was as though the walls of the room began to light up. And as they began to light up, at the right corner of the room, it was as though the room had Allah. It was as though the flame was small, but it had become the size of it had become big. And we began to present salam to Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jalani Rahimullah. And it was as though the door of the mazar began to open up, and the teacher entered first and I followed. And we presented salam to Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jalani Rahimullah. And as we sat in their presence, it was as though the flame of the light was asking them a question. It said, how does one reach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And at that moment, the zikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had become louder and louder. And they, rahimullah ta'ala, replied to the nearest meaning and effect, one only finds Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala truly within themselves first. If that criteria isn't met, then one will be searching for eternity. And then they mentioned, if one has a guide, and if he truly follows the guide, and if he truly loves the guide as he proclaims, then the key to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is through the guide and through the teachings which the guide will teach the seeker. And at this moment, it stayed quiet, and then Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jilani Rahimullah then further said, when one finds Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala within himself, he'll then begin to take lesson within everything that's around him. And at that moment, yourself began to recite Durood Sharif, and I seek permission to return back. Jazakallah.
MashaAllah, I think it's more or less self-explanatory. We have one person on Zoom who's written their experience. I joined anonymous attendee. I joined the session today, and then left, and then rejoined, and then left. And I did this several times because I felt battered and defeated. I transfer, and Hazrat Sahab are in front of me and behind, and we just slowly walk upon a path and then would stop. I feel Allah's presence, Allah's presence, and I fall to the ground and I'm crying. And I'm saying to Allah, I'm done, I've had enough, I'm drained, I have no more left in me. I say to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, nothing is mine. I say to Allah, nothing is mine, my own children, my own mother, my husband, and nothing and no one is mine. Not a single relationship is true of love. Allah SWT responds, which is a voice attribute. Allah SWT responds, but you are mine and I am yours. So cry to me, call to me, and rely upon me. Surrender and submit. I say to Allah SWT, I spent my life helping others, but I cannot help myself. Allah SWT responds, but I gave you my Ahmad to bring you to me. But then why is life still hard? And then the voice attribute Allah SWT responds that your life is mine, your spirit is mine, is alone, as your ruh is alone, and you don't own it. I want it back how I gave it. So yes, life is hard, but you wouldn't be able to bear the other option. So be happy with your test. So for this cleanses you. You can't bear the hellfire, and then I come back and return. So I think if you listen to last week's recording of Hazrat about the will and not the skill, rely on the will and not the skill, I think if you the answer lies there. And mashallah, is the way. If you read the stories of Mashaykhs and Awliya and Salihin, is that when a person is at the breaking point, is crooked, is bad, is striving, but they're at the breaking point when everything leaves them. Countless of stories. Look at Hazrat Ayyub alayhi salam, Sayyidina Ayyub, Sayyidina Ibrahim, Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam, all those prophets and messengers, but Awliya and Salihin. When you're at the breaking point, that is when basically you come to a point of complete, utter reliance and complete, utter turning and focus on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is when you get the jawab. Hence why when you're saying you're broken, completely broken, you realize that dunya, like people, relatives, families, everybody, even if you have an atom's weight of even let's say clinging, that they can actually benefit you, and there you know what will happen is that when you have anything other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in you, then it's as if it becomes a barrier. When everything is completely eradicated, removed, that is when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala opens up and shows you and tells you, I am yours and you are mine. And that is how you've heard, you've seen your state of complete, you could say wretchedness, or you could wretchedness, I would say, is like completely empty and sorrow and half at loss, and realizing the reality of dunya and relationships, that no spouse, no children, no mother, no parent, no father. Reality, يَوْمَ يَفِرُّ الْمَرْءُ مِنْ أَخِيهِ وَأَبِيهِ وَأُمِّهِ. This is the reality, and the day this is what will happen, day of judgment, people will do that. But you're realizing this dunya, that really all these things that we think people will love you, really they have some sort of agenda to it, why they love. Really, it is Allah who loves us for us, and that's it. And like if you listen to Hazrat's bayan last week, your answer will lie then. Hopefully that will be the tonic to actually make you and awaken you and strengthen you and give that resolve again for you to carry back. So I advise yourself to listen to the nasihah that Hazrat gave last Monday and the previous weeks as well. Listen to that, and hopefully that will be the tonic for yourself, inshallah. That will help you. But if you feel like completely like you're going in and out, one is then what happens is that you're doing it and you feel in the state of complete deprivation, complete loss and so on. One should never stop. Carry on. And what you do is that, for example, in and out, in and out. I know you're feeling what's the point, what's the point? Cry. That's your breaking point. So cry to Allah, like you cried and wept. That is what you should at the beginning, just cry. And then what one shouldn't do is stop, leave, come back, stop, leave, come back. In other words, what will happen is that you'll then manifest that. In spiritually done that, regarding amals, then what will happen is that if you follow that feeling, you're gonna then manifest that in your activities, in your responsibilities. So the dawah work that you might be doing, you'll stop and you come back, stop, come back, stop, come back. Or going to the gathering, you stop, you come back, stop, you come back. So here, just the amal itself, you're manifesting that. I'm saying that it's dangerous. So what you do is that whatever your feeling is, when you're feeling like this, and this is to anybody, whenever you're feeling like this, feeling completely low, completely drained, completely shattered, completely low, as if you can't face anyone, as if you can't face the Mashayikh, you completely, you don't know where to turn, then turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and just cry to Him. Cry to Him, cry to the teacher, cry to whoever, and cling. There is you cling. Say, if I'm not saved, if I'm not actually helped, I will be completely gone. What we do is that, oh, nobody loves me, I'm just wretched, and this is them following. If you then carry on with this notion, Shaitan will add more spice to that. Oh, I'm wretched, I'm person hellfire, I cannot be saved. I might as well just leave everything. That is where disaster comes. So, just the fact that you're doing that in the amals is one should always remember is use your intellect and use your akal. I shall never leave the gatherings, and I shall stay and actually cling on. And mashallah, that is what you saw, that when you do stay, you will get the answer and reply. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't test you more than you can bear, so do not worry about that. And if you need then further assistance, guidance, contact your mentor, speak to them. I don't know why our mentees actually go through such difficulties. If you are feeling in that state, if you are going through those emotional states, and that is what your mentor is there for. So speak to your mentor and get some advice and get some tone from them, and hopefully just that by speaking you're showing to Allah, Ya Rabbal Alameen, I don't know, you're humbling yourself, I do not know, I need assistance, and this person is just the means for me to attain that. And through that person, maybe they say they're inspired with words and they help you, inshallah. So speak and open your heart towards a mentor, inshallah, that will help as well. I met Sayyid Abdul Qadir Jilani rahmallah, and I asked the question, how does one stay consistent like yourself has been? I steadfast. They mentioned to the nearest meaning that if you love something, then you can be consistent. I wanted to love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His closeness, that's what made consistent. So whatever your maqsad, that desire, the will, the desire, the want, the pull, that if you really, really want something, desire something, when the desire is there to want something, you'll achieve it. I think Brother Sufyan mentioned something like this on Monday. When the desire is there, then you can actually achieve that. It's got to be a strong pull and desire. Desire is like a pull. That I am the willpower to actually achieve that. If it's there, you'll achieve that, inshallah. And Sayyidina Al-Qadir Jilani rahmallah, he wanted Allah's son. They were for Allah, made for Allah, they were for Allah. And that's it. They wanted, all their heart is just Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that's why they were able to achieve what they want to achieve. MashaAllah.
Assalamu alaikum. Nabil from Bolton. I just wanted to say that when I started the journey, I did fall asleep, and then when I woke up, I tried to reconnect. This was during the Lataifs. As I closed my eyes, I couldn't connect. I was finding it very difficult, and then it was as though I heard a voice from Hazab. They asked me to keep my eyes opened and do the Lataifs, and then whilst I was doing that, I tried to close my eyes again, but I found it as though with my eyes open it was more clearer than with my eyes closed. So all the way through the journey I kept my eyes open. Just wanted to get some clarification on that. The journey, alhamdulillah, in terms of the journey, I did the Lataifs transfer. Went to first I was seeing Hazab here, and then it transferred to Zavia in Denmark, and then from there we went to Sayyidina Abdul Aziz Dabbāgh, and then from there we met them, and then they took us to Sayyidina Abdul Qadir rahmatullah. We had a conversation with them as well, and then the journey continued. Went to Medina Sharif, and then whilst we were there, I still had thoughts that was transferred. So that's when you yourself mentioned that if you haven't transferred. So I tried to connect again with my eyes closed. It wasn't happening, so I did it with my eyes open again, and alhamdulillah connected again. And this time I was in various places with the Hazab at the same time, and I was just in presence of different places with Hazab. And then from there, I seek permission, we came back, and that was it.
There is nothing wrong whatsoever. If a person is able to travel with eyes open or eyes closed, it doesn't matter. The transfer, you should go with whatever is easy for you. You just go with the flow. Really, if you have got eyes open, and that is really the spirit is already. It's not the closing of the eyes just to help us concentrate. The spirit, whether your eyes are open or closed, it doesn't matter. It can travel and it can be other places just by a thought, and then inshallah, your thought is like the missile aim where I want to be, and the spirit just travels. Whether you close your eyes or open your eyes, like a lot of you. That's why Hassan says is that when you do go into muraqabah, people do close their eyes. And when Hassan mentioned once is that I fear that when you do go to sleep, I don't know where you're going, because they can see the spirit is going kebab house, or that spirit is going towards partner, that spirit is going towards, I don't know, Trinidad, Tobago, they're surfing on the boards, whatever they're doing. So other people might be going other places. So irrespective if you are, and then there are those people who have got their eyes open and they're also asleep. Basically, they've got the eyes open, but they're not here. They're somewhere else as well. So whether you have got your eyes open or closed, do not worry. This is fine what you've done. It is perfectly fine. And sometimes it's easier for a person to have the eyes open and travel. It won't be a constant state, not necessarily, but sometimes it depends on what the state you're in, which mechanism Allah SWT wants to show you through, that is fine. So if it's the case that you got your eyes open and you're traveling, this is fine. And there are some people that find it easier with the eyes closed, this is fine. But you'll find that maybe sometimes you got the eyes open, you're not traveling. So when you got your eyes closed, then it makes it easier. So it depends on the state you're going through. Just go with that. If the Mashayikh said keep your eyes open, then that's fine, completely fine. MashaAllah, don't worry about it. Another thing that many people is that I gave it a reminder, if you're already transferred, don't think I need to retransfer. Okay, it's just a reminder in case, because there's a time limit. So, so you've transferred, oh wait a minute, I've been transferred. Now that's it, I have to retransfer. Now okay, let's go on retransfer. If you're already there, mashallah, it means it doesn't apply to you, it applies to the other person who's not actually done that, inshallah. Okay. Also, congratulations to yourself that you managed to also visit them in Denmark, mashallah. I see the affiliation getting strong already, mashallah. Taking inshallah, if there's nothing else, Jazakallah, say Jazak, may Allah bless you all for coming and bless us all and help us all to act upon and remember the teaching of our beloved teacher and give significance to the teaching and really live by the teaching, inshallah. Jazakallah, say Jazak, subhanakallah wa bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik.